Last week's jobs report set us up for some huge technicals in the markets, and we need to take a look at it. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education, and if you have a car that's driven by a pig and the fan belt's loose, you might hear it squeal, but you can get that fixed pretty easily. Just remember every 3,000 miles to get an oil change, or else you might end up with the engine seizing and possibly bending a ham shaft. Kind of proud of myself for making it through that. I didn't really have a dad joke set up, so I just figured I'd go with some random pig puns for this one. Let's get into the charts and we'll talk about the stock market now. So here we go with SPY in the pre-market hours up above the 50. Let me really stretch this out and exaggerate so you can see where we're at. Pre-market hours up here, 513 per share as I record this, and this thin blue line that we have trading up above that, that's the 50-day. A solid candle open and close above that is a bullish thing for us as we're up above the 200-day. That's excellent. And also down here at the RSI up above 50. So I said last week that however we close would set the status quo for the next week. We don't have any major catalysts. We have some Fed speeches this week to look forward to, even starting today around, I think, noon or 12:30. We can expect to hear from the Fed. And honestly, I think if anything, it could be confirmatory to whatever we see for the current market movement. I think it could possibly, if anything, exaggerate it further from where it's at. So I think we'll get some decent green today in the market. I think when the Fed speaks, it might even escalate that. We're going to have to see if it has any impact at all. I don't think there's going to be something that's going to beat the market down. Moving over to QQQ in the pre-market hours, stretch this out a little bit more. We are trading right at about the 50 days. Same thing I said for SPY. Got to keep an eye on that. IWM is an interesting one as this tracks the Russell 2000. So this is one in the pre-market hours up at 203. We are actually up above its 50-day. And we also have the RSI moving very nicely for us. And we even have an important cross at the 5 and the 13. We have the 5 almost ready to cross the 50 for these exponential moving averages. And if we can get the 13 period, which is this yellow one coming across here to cross the red, which is the 50, that is even more bullish momentum for us that we're looking for with those moving averages. So this chart for IWM looking quite nice. And I think the Russell 2000 stocks, when we do finally hit that moment where we think that those rate cuts are about 6 months out, which honestly, we're kind of in that prime zone right now. We could see some excellent movement from the Russell 2000 stocks, and I think the market does know that, so we can have some significant upside coming to IWM. So to Turbo over in my Discord who asked about IWM, a little bit of an update on that. There's your update for it, my friend, and if you guys want to join that Discord, there's a link down in the description for that. Over to BTC, we're trading up above the recent trend line. You can see that we got rejected at the 50-day. We almost got there. Got some downward pressure coming off that with some of these high wicks. Staying up above the 50-day EMA though. And we also have an important moving average cross with the exponential moving averages here. Green over yellow, that's a good thing. That's a faster moving average crossing up above a slower moving one. And as we near that 50, we could really see that play out. Now we do need to break 66,000 for this thing to have further upside. And this could be a very good week for Bitcoin too, as I think it's also potentially a very good week for the markets. The only thing we really have coming up is Michigan consumer sentiment that we have to watch out for on Friday. That's some souring sentiment from the consumer as per that survey from Michigan, University of Michigan, coming out at 10 a.m. Friday. That could be one of those negative catalysts. So the other thing that we have after that is just earnings. And so for earnings, Palantir, by the way, I have a call option out on that right now, which is actually doing pretty darn well. I don't know if I'm going to hold it through earnings or not. Might actually cash in on that one, take the profits and roll it into some more risky options for the earning. We'll see if that ends up paying off. I'll let you guys know. So SoFi, Anthony Noto, we actually have some insider buying from Anthony Noto on Friday. He bought just under 30,000 shares. So that is actually causing a little bit of a positive market reaction. And I think we're coming off a bottom for SoFi. And I've not taken the opportunity to do some dollar cost averaging to add to my position in that one, as I know other people in my Discord have also done the same, as they're also SoFi fans. And this is one that I think as we see those deals come in, that it's going to end up being more profitable for us. I even have a put option that I sold, which entitles me to 100 shares at $6 a piece if we get that low. And if we do, I might actually sell some more put options to really push down that cost basis, which as of right now, if I were assigned to buy those 100 shares, the cost basis would be about $5.86 a piece. Moving over into Tesla, we got some pretty excellent technicals on Tesla on a daily basis. So you can see that we actually came down when we touched the 50-day EMA. We had an EMA cross right here with green over red. We're also above the 50-day SMA. Bullish signs for us all across the board for that one. And more importantly, look here at the red and the yellow. That cross if the red should happen to come up and cross the yellow, could be further bullishness for us. We could possibly see that $200 price tag sooner than later coming out of Tesla if we can make it over this current level that it's at right now, this resistance that we find right between like 182 to 185. If we can make it over 185, we could have significant upside coming for Tesla. If not, then we got to watch for these moving averages that we have here, the EMA at 176-ish, and the SMA that we have right around 174. Getting down below those, then it might set us up for a short position instead, although right now it is looking like we're near-term bullish. And if we look at the weekly chart for this one to see where we're positioned, we actually have the RSI creeping up towards 50. If we get that cross, that could be a further confirmation for what we could have for some continued bullishness as according to a longer trend chart. So also look at the green and the yellow here. Getting that cross is also going to be confirmation for a longer time horizon that we have for bullishness on Tesla. So it's possible that we see a lot more upside coming in the near term for Tesla. And then I'm going to cap things off here with our friend NVIDIA. By the way, SoFi brought to you by Wildman over in my Discord, asking for an update on SoFi. Still bullish, and I think that we're actually seeing a temporary bottom for that coming in. We do want to watch that $7 line, that if we get a full candle close down below that, that could be something that pushes us down further. So for NVIDIA, there we go. Open that up a little bit. You can see we popped up above this trend line. We have the earnings coming up on the 22nd of May. After the market closes, absolutely enormous from where we're at now, which is May 6th. So we have 16 days, just over 2 weeks. So upfront, that's 2 weeks from Wednesday is when we're looking at. 1 week from this coming Wednesday is CPI. Then the next week is what we have for NVIDIA earnings. CPI, by the way, I do want to make a quick mention after I finish talking about NVIDIA. I'll circle back around to that. $900 is that line in the sand for NVIDIA. We got to pop 900 and solidly break it, and then we can take on these all-time highs. I still have my stock price prediction of $1,000 either leading up to earnings or shortly after earnings, that we see that $1,000 price tag, that we go quadruple digits for NVIDIA stock. So we'd be watchful for that. Now about CPI on a non-seasonally adjusted basis, so an unadjusted basis for CPI. Historically, we see a peak between February and March, and then we taper off a little bit in April. And so for year-over-year numbers, that could be a very good thing for seeing that pullback in inflation. And getting softer inflation numbers could be something that leads to further bullishness that we have in the markets, and that could also help push NVIDIA's price up along with the entire market itself. And so we need to watch for that. Then there's also the sell in May and go away. So we'll see if we hit any sort of peak that happens in May and give people a final selling opportunity that's in there. And then does the market sell off a little bit? We're going to have to watch and see what reports come out. We're going to have to see what the market's signaling to us and what's going on a macro level. But we could have a temporary reprieve in the sell-off that we had, and we'll see if it takes us back up to all-time highs, and if so, what sort of rejection, if any, will we get at those all-time highs. So guys, that's the commentary that I have for you. Check out those stocks that I talked about. Those of you over on my Discord, I hope that you like me covering the stocks that you were asking about. And if you guys want to come join us, that link is down in the description for Patreon. Click it, sign up, join us over in the Discord, talk with us throughout the trading days about the stocks that you're interested in and about the stock market itself. See my buys and sells. And then also down in the description, check out the link for the technical analysis trading course. If you don't learn to take your trading game to the next level through technical analysis, that course can help you do it. As always, guys, I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much for watching. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning, and we'll see you in the next video.